Oh, Judy. Okay. So here it is, 6 in the morning, and I don't think I was ready for this. Not at 6 in the morning, but I decided to sit down and watch the first two episodes of Euphoria on HBO. I've heard some talk about it, so I wanted to give myself a chance to see what it was about. And I don't think I was ready. But what it is, it's a modern day story about teenagers and what they go through. Most of these kids were born after 2011, and so they are growing up in the most fucked up time in our lives. Okay, excuse me. And the main character who's narrating the story is her name is Rue, and so you could definitely tell this is a modern take, on life now, because she was definitely named after a character, in a book. But she's basically telling a story about her life and the people who are around her. She is basically a messed up individual at a young age, a drug addict. Comes from a middle class family. Pretty much looks like her mom is raising her, and it's her and her younger sister. And so, and it's played by an actress by the name of Zendaya. She's very popular right now. When I first saw this, I thought, oh my god, this is a hot, fucked up mess. What in the hell am I watching? What in the world is this bullshit? I'm like, oh, HBO, y'all done really went there this time. But what I'm noticing is this. This is just the same old story being told over and over. And the only reason why many of us who are 40-ish are either going to be upset about it, confused about it, or turned off is because you're going to put yourself back in teenage years, 1980, and you're gonna be like, oh, we didn't do that, we didn't do all that, that's messed up. No, but see, we did all the same things, we knew all the same people. Okay, the only thing that makes this a little bit more hardcore because it's set in modern times and what these kids are going through, and that is with what sexting, Pornhub, social media, YouTube, and it's life now is really making it a lot harder. And then the choice of drugs. Okay, it was one thing when we were back in the day and we were doing we were smoking weed, maybe a little ecstasy when you went out, dance to the New Order and Depeche Mode. Mostly that was it for me. Okay, I never touched cocaine. I wasn't trying to touch crack because, see, we all looked at cocaine and crack as that is something you don't go there. You don't. There was a certain kind of people, or I knew, that you didn't touch cocaine because cocaine led to crack. And then next thing you know, you will be called a crackhead, and you didn't want, and as Whitney so eloquently put it on TV, crack is whack. But these kids are growing up with a lot more things that are a lot more hardcore. They're living in the age of Trump. They didn't grew up with their parents scared of everything since 9/11. Like I said, they got social media now, which is just putting everything out there like boom, boom, boom. And I'll tell you right now, if your teenage daughters are watching this, or your teenage kids are watching it, I'm gonna let you know right now, they done got to see more dick in episode 1 and episode 2 than they probably seen, than most of them have seen in a lifetime. Okay, so I'm gonna let you know right now, there is a lot of male frontal nudity, especially in the beginning of episode 2. So you have Rue introduce us to a friend of hers, a couple of friends, like Jules. Now, see, I'm suspecting Jules might be a trans teen. In one of the first scenes, she's goes to meet this guy. His name is Dominant Daddy. Come to find out, he's doing her from the back, and she meet him online. And with a name like Dominant Daddy, you can tell that he messes with boys or men. So we get introduced to her, and she's new to town. She lives with her dad. Then you have the football players, and you have, you got your football players, and of course there's always one stereotypical black kid, suburban black kid amongst all these white boys. And always they make that kid the most sensitive of all the other kids, okay? Then you got your one big super alpha jock. His name is Nate. He's like 6'3", 6'4", and he seems to be very angry. Now I know why he's angry, because episode 2 was pretty much about him and his situation. Now we come to find out Nate's family is really kind of fucked up, because his daddy is Dominant Daddy, who was in the first couple of scenes in episode 1. So we come to find out that Nate has grown up, and he's gone through all his dad's porn as a kid, and come to find out all of dad's homemade porn was stuff that pictures and images he took when he was having his conquests with other boys and transsexuals. So now we got Nate, who's growing up, and I've seen a lot of these kids and these boys, and they're even out here now, trying to prove themselves as men, trying to keep themselves from looking, because they don't find out their daddy or whoever has this fetish or let's call it a fetish, or is hiding a secret or has a secret. And so they don't want to emulate that. They don't want, they thinking, let me not be that person. I don't want people, thinking I'm like that. So I'm going to be hard. I'm going to be a man. I'm just going to do everything. So he's kind of got a problem stemming from that, what he's found out as a kid. So everything, he's like, he done made himself super aggressive, super macho, and everything he focuses in on, he wants women to be how he wants a woman to be. He wants a woman to be super, super hyper feminine. He doesn't want her to have no hair on her body. She has to be a certain way. She pretty much has to be Britney Spears when we first seen Britney Spears in Baby One More Time. Okay? He don't want Britney Spears when she cut her hair off. He want Britney, that kind of woman, okay? And then he's ultra just angry. But he's angry because his life is fucked up. His family life is fucked up. Now, it's hard. It's hard to really just, take this in. But you have to come outside of yourself being 40-ish to get what's going on in this story. And it's a sad story. It's a sad story, and I don't expect it to have no happy ending or a silver lining. I know it's only episode 2, and I'm just giving my judgment. This is my opinion on it. But my whole thing about this show is I'm finding parts of it I like, and like I said, I'm starting to relate to the characters. I'm actually, like I said, I have to pull myself out of being 40-ish and just watch it from watch it from outside of my inner being, because if I watch it from a 40-year-old's perspective, I number one, I feel like a pervert for watching it. Number two, it makes you mad because you're thinking, oh, these kids are messing up their lives, but they're high school kids, so they don't know. They really don't know. And a lot of them will tell you, oh yeah, I know how my life, I know, I'm blah, 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 blah. No, you know what social media tells you. You know what the Kardashians tell you. You know what Black China tells you. You know what Cardi B tells you. You know what Zendaya tells you. You know what Drake tells you. You know what Little Baby tells you. You don't know your life. Baby, even at my age, I'm just finding out about my life. Okay, I'm just discovering my life because I didn't even know what my life was, because all I knew what my life was because what New Order told me, Depeche Mode told me, Run DMC told me. You know, I knew my life was what Facts of Life told me, Living Single told me, you know, Madonna told me, Michael Jackson told me, and definitely what Prince told me. I learned about sex from listening to Prince. Then I really didn't learn about myself until as I got in my 30s and 40s. So now I know who I am and I'm comfortable with who I am. So these kids out here talking about, you know, like I said, watching this show, this is a perfect example. If you want to know what kids are going through now, you need to watch Euphoria. You do. You do need to watch this show, because if you don't understand these kids now, this is going to be your best way to understand them and what they're going through. And like I said, you need to take yourself out of being 40-ish, 50-ish, being a parent or a grandparent, and you have to understand what you went through. Unless you were just a bookworm and your mom and daddy kept you on the right road and all that, you know what? That's not real life. That's not real teenage life. I'm sorry. Real teenage life is running the streets, being sneaky, lying, half-truths, gossip, being in love, being hurt, trying to survive, trying to cope, trying to fit in, wanting to fit in, being confused, feeling unloved, but when you are loved, and going through an endless stream of friends because you're trying to find yourself. That's what being a teenager is about. So, like I said, I'm going to keep watching Euphoria. I'm going to keep these kikis going about Euphoria. We're going to talk about it. It's a little shocking. It's a little shocking, but like I said, if you stay inside of your 40-ish self, it's going to stay shocking. Okay? But if you come outside of yourself and just watch it objectively, it's going to open your eyes, and it's going to definitely make you think. Now, what I don't care for, and this is just not just this show, because I'm not hearing it in this show yet, but I'm hearing pieces of it. What I don't care for is these kids now using the word nigga. Okay? Not Nigger. Okay? Because they've already distinguished what the meaning, the two differences are. Okay? My thing is this. Yes, it does mean homie, my friend, my buddy, whatever. Or, you know, it's just a... But you know what? That ain't cute. Okay, it's not cute to hear little white and Latino kids use it, because it makes them sound stupid. And and then I was thinking about this about the show. All these kids sounding like, and it must be from the music and the movies, but why are these kids sounding like really bad actors from a John Singleton movie? Oh, you know, you my homie, you know, dude. You know, I get where you're coming from. Why do they all sound like that one person or cousin or somebody you know from Fifth Ward or Compton or Harlem? Not even Harlem, because I've been to New York and it's a little different up there. You know, why do they sound like they from, you know, Opalaka? Why these kids? And then you got, you know, even black kids don't sound like that. So, you know, excuse us if we're looking at you like, you know, like you sound like an idiot. Okay? I mean, they do. They all sound like bad, drugged out characters from a John Singleton movie. Now, I know there were many of us back in the day that sounded like dumb, brightly lit idiots from a John Hughes movie. And if you've never seen a John Hughes movie, you need to. But most of you who are watching this, who are 40-ish, know what John Hughes made. Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, etc., etc. So I guess it's a generational thing, because I don't think the generation of the 10 years or so, they're going to be using, the word nigga. And it's just funny how that word does not affect them. It seems to only affect us, as 40-ish and our parents and our grandparents. Now I understand why they don't like to hear it, because it does have a negative connotation to it. Because even me growing up, for me to hear the word, somebody say, "Oh, that nigga ain't got my child support. That nigga ain't here on time. I know he with that bitch. Or that nigga, he should have been here. Oh, that nigga ain't got my money this week." That's how my parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles used it, and it was a negative thing. It was meant like that bad person, this idiot. Okay, it wasn't used like in how people think it was used. No, it's always been that way. So all of you talking about, oh, we need to stop using that word. We need to stop that word. You know what? Yeah, in a way we do need to stop using it. But the thing about it is we created that monster. And don't think we hadn't. It's always being used. But it was always used with that GGA, not that ER on the end. The ER was thrown at us as a negative from people who were outside of our race. But the ones inside our race, we used it with the GGA on it, but we also used it as a negative thing also. But like I said, that was just episode 1 and 2. It's a lot to take in for me. I might have to even go back and rewatch episode 2, because at certain points I had to turn it off, because it was just a little much to take. But I'm going to keep up with it. So we're going to keep talking about it. So remember, you tell me what you like, what you dislike, and what you know and what you don't know about Euphoria. Oh, I see that Drake is an executive producer on it. Congratulations to Drake for jumping into this medium. And I'm sure he has other things that he's doing. But like I said, you let me know what you like, what you didn't like. Make sure you click subscribe and tell your friends. Let's get together and let's have some coffee, whatever you drink, whatever you don't drink, breakfast, lunch, whatever I do these videos. And remember, I will be back with another follow-up after episode 3, and watch all my other videos. And until then, you put that in your tea mug and sip on it, and you tell your mama I said, hey, bye-bye.